Hey there, so see that slightly wild-eyed guy on the screen right there? That is a very, very tired Aaron. I just want to put that out there right now because if you watched part one of my Arrow video collection, which I hope you did, you'll notice that after the DVDs section of it, it kind of goes back to showing you again the DVD section of it. Uh, my box sets and stuff were done on the part two, so the majority of my Blu-rays, which you guys haven't seen on here, has been shown yet. So yeah, there's a lot more Blu-rays to show. And I got some steel books as well. So we're gonna do that right. Hey there, and up on the screen, you're maybe getting a hint of what an upcoming collection video is going to become. Will be coming up. So first off, before I get into the Arrow, kind of breaks their stuff into like different companies. It's all the same company, but they do have like Arrow Video. They've got like Arrow Academy. We got a few different ones now. There's like kind of a Nordic Noir as well. So let's start off the Arrow Academy ones. We're going to do an Arrow film, and then we'll get on to all the really cool Arrow videos that you guys want to see. So this is a favorite of mine, and was watched. Me and my better half actually watched this the other night. Really, really good movie. This stands the test of time. Both huge fans of this type of this film genre, and as we were watching it, she was like, I really like this. This is the type of thing I want to watch with you. We need to get more of these. So I got a couple here that we haven't watched. Well, at least I haven't watched in a while. So that is The Naked City by Jules Dassin. Dassin, right? See, I got it right. Uh, now, it's a great two-disc edition, both Blu-ray and DVD. The artwork on the inside will show you as well. Is very cool. I'm a was a big fan of this one. And what's really cool about this is after we finish watching, we want to watch a featurette. Now, there's a 50-minute one, about 15-minute one on here, about the film itself. But we just want to watch something shorter because it was getting later in the night, and we both had to work the next day. So I checked out a short film that was done back in 1950 called The Hollywood 10, and it's one that I gotta say like resonates with me. One of the reasons that I don't yet have in my Criterion collection the movie On the Waterfront is because the guy that made On the Waterfront, the writer from On the Waterfront, and the concept behind the movie itself, although it's a brilliantly done, written, and acted film of like high accord, it's kind of like saying that the House Un-American Activities Committee and the blacklisting was okay, that it was the right thing to do, and those guys kind of like they stood by that for a long time. Stanley Kramer, right? Stanley Kramer stood by that. The what he did, and it bothers me, especially at this time when right now the blacklisted so many fantastic, amazing like writers, directors. Jules Dassin himself was had to go and to leave the United States. This would go to guys like Charlie Chaplin, like one of the greatest filmmakers. People really underrate Chaplin. Chaplin, yes, he's a great comedian, and Tramp's fantastic, and he did some really funny films. But he did some really fantastic films, and the thing is, Chaplin's hands were in every bit of his of the filmmaking that he did. The music, the any of the scripting, a lot of it was like scripted on at the time until he got into more of the the films with actually sound, and he took some hits from some of the political statements that he made around that time. And Chaplin was an amazing guy, just far ahead of his time. From like still today, Chaplin is one of those guys that was amazingly ahead of his time. Why I'm type of Chaplin, why I'm type of Naked City, because Chaplin was one of those guys that were affected by this the same as Jules Dassin was. For many, many years, people like Dassin and Chaplin, Dalton Trumbo, couldn't work in the United States. they were blacklisted. If they worked under pseudonyms, and actors, of course, couldn't work under pseudonyms. So their careers were ruined by people like Hedda Hopper. Um, so that's a little bit of a rant on the end there, but that's why I got Naked City and a lot of his films in my collection, and I don't have On the Waterfront. And it is a fantastic film that I would like to own, but not yet. I'm not ready yet. Next up is another one by Dassin, and that is Brute Force. I'm a really big Burt Lancaster fan as well. This is, I think this is his first, or actually one of his first films. This is an early film by Lancaster, I know it is. But the big thing on this one of the really important things is that Hume Cronyn plays the bad guy. And he plays a really, really despicably good bad guy in this one here. It is a fantastic film. So if you haven't seen this one here, I strongly recommend it. It's Burt Lancaster plays this guy named Joe Collins, who, along with a bunch of others, are trying to get out of this prison, because it's really rough. They're not just because these are prisoners who want to get out of prison. There is some really rough stuff going on there, and so Vonda Carl's in this, and Blythe. It is a fantastic movie. So, as you can see, there's pretty standard. There's the booklet. It's pretty good, thick booklet as well. So, again, these here all have some great features, like Burt Lancaster, the film noir years. I haven't even watched it yet. What's one I want to check out? Next up is another Burt Lancaster film, and that is The Train. This one here is one that I really want to sit down and invest some time into, because it's kind of a long film. It runs at like 133 minutes. But it's a really cool film. Basically, the Nazis have all of these priceless paintings, works of art, that they're getting across in this train, and Burt Lancaster's character wants to save them from being destroyed, save them from being taken. This was by Frankenheimer. Incredible film, and this one again, Burt Lancaster in the '60s. So there's a bunch of really cool stuff on these here. I'm a big fan of those. Next up is another Burt Lancaster film. Yeah, I got a few. That is The Killers with Burt Lancaster and Ava Gardner. This is the first adaptation, right? This is the original adaptation of Ernest Hemingway's The Killers. I'm pretty sure there wasn't one done before this. If there was, you guys can correct me down below. So if there's a silent version that I don't know about, though I doubt there's a silent version of Ernest Hemingway's The Killers, but I think this is original. Again, we have some great stuff on here as well. We have trailers for The Killers, Brute Force, Naked City, and Rififi. Rififi is also another fantastic film. We got the Screen Director's Playhouse adaptation. There's like 3 radio adaptations of on here. So we got like the Killers radio adaptation. I love the radio adaptation, by the way. Got an episode of Suspense called Two for the Road, which reunites original Killers stars William Conrad and Charles McGraw, and a Jack Benny spoof as well. So that's kind of cool. I'm a huge Jack Benny fan. This was much smoother when I did this last night. I felt like it flowed a little bit better. But we'll go with this anyway. And I have one, and guess what? It's not Ernest. Well, it is Ernest Hemingway, but it's not Burt Lancaster. And it is The Killers. This one has Lee Marvin and Angie Dickinson. John Cassavetes, I think, is in this one as well. Yeah. Again, another fantastic film. Who's the bad guy in this one? Do you remember the bad guys in the second edition of The Killers? Ronald Reagan. So in Ronald Reagan's final film role, because this is, I think, his final film role, he played a bad guy. Hey, show Reagan some love. But yeah, he did. Reagan's looking, look, Trump's coming out, Reagan's looking pretty good right now. Fantastic film. Angie Dickinson, beautiful in that film. She is a beautiful woman anyway. I loved her in later on in Dressed to Kill. Of course, in Police Woman, a really cool show. Next up now, just like I showed you on part 2, the Arrow Academy originally also had the slip boxes too. So we got Rififi. This is a good one. I'll show you on the back there, like I did in the other ones. There's all 4 covers for Rififi. Again, there's like some cool features on there as well. There's like an introduction by a famous French cinema critic. There's an interview with Jules Dassin. there's Q&A with him as well, done at BFI in London. Comprehensive booklet. So let's just see how the booklets are on these. So again, it's a booklet here. You can see there's a little like insert and add on there for that, and very well done. Very amazing stuff. Fifi is a favorite film of my better half's, actually. She really liked that one. And when she watched it not too long ago, I think she found that it did stand the test of time. So, Fifi. I also have I guess this is what you call this in horror, sort of. It's Edgar Allan Poe's Three Tales of the Macabre. Spirits of the Dead. A classic one. We got Bridget Bardot, Elaine Delon, Jane Fonda, Terrence Stamp, Peter Fonda. What's really cool is the directors on this one. Just look down there, guys. You got Federico Fellini, Louis Malle, and Roger Vadim. Again, we have 4 different covers. Very amazing stuff. Again, a bunch of featurettes. There's a booklet in here as well, which I will show you guys. This is a thick book. This is one of the thickest ones. Before, even before the 100 pages, they had like these ones here. Actually, it's really thick. We got a picture of Edgar Allan Poe in the back, another classic picture. Cartoon there as well. You can see there's like a lot of writing. The writing printing's a little bit smaller in this one here, so if you can't see that well, you might need to use a bit of some reading glasses. But really, really worth checking out. There's an article here by Tim Lucas, so it's it's going to be really good. This is kind of a cool cover too. But I'm a huge fan of Bridget Bardot, so there we go. She wins the cover. Next up is the classic film that's a fantastic film for movie lovers and for the young and hard alike, and that is a movie called Cinema Paradiso. This is definitely what I consider the definitive edition of this film here. It's a 25th anniversary edition. It concludes both the theatrical cut of this film, which ran at 124 minutes, and the director's cut of this film, which runs at 174 minutes. Cinema Paradiso is definitely a feast for the eyes. It is a film for film lovers. When you're thinking about films that actually are for film lovers, that that you think that say something, movies like 8½, say something about different times in your life, and use cinema as well. Films like Cinema Paradiso, they are films that do that work in that way. So this one is kind of I think I'm not sure if you can get this edition. I know you can get the film, still all the exact same edition. I think it's just been put into just a standard Emery case, as opposed to this one right here. And I love these here. It's whenever I can find a Criterion that had the old school Blu-ray DVD combo pack, and it's got the kind of more of the paper case, I much prefer that. So it looks like a movie ticket there. Open up and you can actually see the kind of scenes. Of course, the infamous kiss scene. So a lot of great stuff in there. It is the 2-disc edition, and they are both Blu-ray, one for the theatrical cut and one for the director's cut. Very cool. Did you like that film? Next up was one that I know she loved, because we watched it together. This recently came out here in North America, United States specifically. It's a great documentary. Now, I basically love Ray Harryhausen, and so does my better half. That's one thing that we did kind of bond on when we were talking about films early on. She, over in Morocco, was watching these movies, and I was, as a kid, and I was over here in Canada watching these same films. So it doesn't matter where you are or what you're... movies transcend. That's what I love about film. It transcends politics, religion, race, all this stuff. Movies, an experience that it gives you transcends all that, and I think that's pretty cool. And Ray Harryhausen, Special Effects Titan, is a fantastic one. This is a great slipcover. When I ordered this one, I think I ordered this from Amazon, right? I do buy this one from the site themselves. Either way, it's got a slipcover, and I did not expect that. Does the North American edition have slipcover? I don't know. I haven't seen it around. Next up is the classic Preston Sturges film, Sullivan Travels, of course, with Veronica Lake. It's been a while since I've seen this one, so there's not a lot I'm going to be able to tell on this one because I'll be talking out of the side of my mouth, and I don't want to do that. But let's have some great features on it. It was a feature-length documentary. Ooh, I didn't know that. Preston Sturges, The Rise and Fall of the American Dreamer. Yeah, there's a thought. Like we watch a lot of documentaries and stuff together. So, because she doesn't like a lot of the creepy stuff that I like. So we kind of watch, pick things out and we'll say, okay, this is what we're going to watch. So here we got also Network. A great one. We got the director's one here for Sidney Lumet. Just a great film. When I was into acting, and if I was going to go for an audition, I would take basically monologues and I practice them. And I do stuff from Saturday Night Fever, I do stuff from Rocky, and I did stuff from Network. And it always kind of like had this kind of really kind of cool, love this film, very cool, like I'm mad as hell speech. Really kind of a strange. Not a big fan of the art there, the original art. I find that this one is a much more appropriate art. Next up is the Frank Sinatra, Lawrence Harvey, Janet Leigh, and Angela Lansbury movie, The Manchurian Candidate. Of course, the original, the classic. This one has a Frankenheimer director's documentary on it as well. Those directors' documentaries are really good. Like talks about their, all the films they did, gets into like what type of directors they are. I really find them fascinating. I had still have a DVD, two disc DVD, an Anchor Bay edition of The Hills of Eyes. And it has on the second disc a Wes Craven director's, and it's really good. So again, this is a fantastic film. The remake I was not a big fan of the remake. I'm not gonna lie to you. There's actors I loved in the remake, but the movie itself, I just wasn't that into. And I mean, I liked the guys like I think it was Liv Schreiber or Gary Sinise. Those guys, one of those guys was in the remake of that film. Next up is the classic Donald Kamal film, Avoid the Eye. For me, this is his best film. The documentary on this is absolutely like stunning. It's one that you will really like just get into and watch. And that is Donald Kamal, The Ultimate Performance. It's a feature-length documentary. It talks about his films, his life. He was a very tragic figure. And I highly recommend it. The Arrow sale is going on right now. If you see this one there, if that's part of the Arrow sale, I do recommend picking it up. The movie's a fantastic movie. The documentary is a fantastic documentary. It really is a total package. Next up is the movie Porky's. A lot of people see this as just like a sexploitation film, like in the early days, but it's not. This one it's a period piece. It's set back in 1954. It's during the time of racial unrest, which actually resonates right now, especially right now. There's things there about like racism, anti-Semitism, a lot of stuff that you will not see. Like nowadays, if you watch a lot of these movies, like American Pie and stuff like that, it's what it is. They're fun movies, but they're about getting laid, and they're about getting the kind of the fun joke, the cheesy joke, and sometimes the sex joke, whatever. But Porky's was just such a well done movie. Bob Clark, of course, the guy that did Black Christmas and Murder by Decree, two of my favorite movies. Of course, A Christmas Story, which everybody should watch at Christmas time. And as you can see, it has a different type cover on the back. It's meant to look kind of like a magazine, a men's magazine type of thing, but it's actually really, really well done. There's some like decent features on there as well. There's a commentary by Bob Clark, interviews with Bob Clark, and actually interviews with Mr. Skin, who talks about although it's tame by today's standards, the nudity that was in the film at the time was, for a lot of guys growing up, like me, for instance, and Mr. Skin himself, was kind of like seminal into like wow, you're a young teen, and this is like there's nude women on the screen. Although the nudity in the Porky's was never really of kind of a sexual nature, it did kind of run that way. Actually, the shower sequence was there, but nothing. Everything had kind of a reason. Nothing seemed to be put into there. It didn't like when you talk about these like movies and these sexploitation and teen exploitation movies. Porky's doesn't follow along those lines. It doesn't do it for. You can tell in the film he's telling a story, and he's telling a really kind of a funny story and a good story and a relevant story, and it doesn't follow along the exploitation lines what you'd expect from a film like that. So for that reason, thumbs up. Next up is Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I do dig this. There was actually a steelbook of this one as well, but look at that cover, guys. Look at the beautiful artwork on that cover. Is that not amazing? That's why I did not get the steelbook edition of Killer Clowns from Outer Space, because this is one scary, sexy clown. Again, there's a ton of features on here. So all the stuff was carried over from the MGM release, which I also do have, by the way. And just brand new interviews around here as well. Some really cool new stuff. Get some great transfer of the film. It is the 2-disc edition. We got like the first one right there. This is the Honeymoon Killers. People rave about that movie, but I really haven't seen it. So if anybody knows about Honeymoon Killers, is it that one worth picking up down the road? I know that Arrow's done it and Criterion has done it as well. There's been some raving about the film, but it really hasn't stuck out as something that I really am interested in seeing, at least right now. But maybe there's something I'm missing out, and it's a film that I haven't seen. Next up is one actually sent to me by a good friend of mine, and the movie is The Funhouse. I love this cover. That is amazing. I have the Scream Factory edition of this on DVD. It was so nice to get this on Blu-ray, to have it done well. And man, is this done well. There's just some great features. Look at the features. See all that red stuff there? Those are all special features. Just amazing. We got other commentaries. This not one. We got 3 other commentaries on here. Things with Tobe Hooper, things with the SFX artist, special effects artist. We got stuff with Mick Garris. Masterclass of Horror. Mick Garris, the director of Sleepwalkers and Shining, reflects on the crimson-covered career of his longtime colleague Tobe Hooper. Just amazing. Next up is one that my dad gave me, and that is The Hound of the Baskervilles. Huge, huge Hound of the Baskervilles fan. Love Hammer. As you guys know, I'm a huge Hammer fan. And this is just a fantastic edition. I do strongly recommend this one here. It is a great presentation. There are some great features on here. This is what you really need to know. Release the Hound, the brand new documentaries on here. Many Faces of Sherlock Holmes. 1986 documentary around Andre Morel and his work with Hammers on it as well. So there's a bunch of different stuff. We got Andre Morel documentary. We got I think even Sherlock, Christopher Lee actually reads some Hound of the Baskervilles on here. He does actually. There's a bunch of features on here that are really, really worth checking out. Look how gorgeous that is. So let's just show the inside cover, because the inside art, the other art, the original art is actually pretty cool too. So we'll let you see that as well. That's it's pretty amazing. Of course, there were changes with the story to give the Hammer feel to it. But I gotta say, I really did dig this one. Next up was a fun film. Vinegar Syndrome also put out an edition of this, which I think is almost the same, if not exactly the same. And that is a film called Madman. It is a really cool, kind of a cheesy 80s slasher film. I think this was done around the time that with Burning and Friday the 13th were due. This is one of the 82 films, I think. I have to go back and look at it again to see for sure, but I'm pretty sure it was around that time period. There's a full feature-length documentary on here about Madman. You really got to see this movie, guys. It's one of those movies that, of course, the Blu-ray and DVD. It's unique. And it's funny, and there's a scene in the pool, in a kind of a hot tub. Yeah, that's the original cover. So if you remember the movie, It's all about Madman Mars. Don't say the name, or Madman Mars will come and get you. So next up we have here a film by Larry Cohen, a personal favorite of mine, and one I watch every once in a while. This is a personal favorite of my son's as well, and it stars Michael Moriarty, who was in a lot of Larry Cohen films, and that is The Stuff. If you haven't seen this one, I strongly recommend it. It's a very good film, great 52-minute documentary on there as well about the film. Again, this is like a 2-disc edition, and it's the great booklet on here. I highly recommend it. It's funny. It's horrific. It is a bit of social commentary. Larry Cohen is a great filmmaker, a fantastic writer, and one that if you're into film, please study some of the work that he does and some of the scripts that he does, because he has managed to meld his film, his social commentary, and that together really well. So when people talk to you about George Romero and Dawn of the Dead and how the social commentary is there for the for the mall scene and all that, which is pretty blatant commercial, talk about commercialization and anyway, show him some Larry Cohen stuff. There's a guy who can make social commentary about things like gigantic pterodactyls in New York. Q, check it out. Next up is one that we got to see in the theater not too long ago, and it is John Carpenter's Big Trouble in Little China. Love this movie. Remember this one? Yeah, we had fun with this one in the theater. There's some great features on here, interviews with Kurt Russell and John Carpenter, Dean Cundey. There's commentary on here as well, I think. Yeah. Commentary with Carpenter and Russell, so you know it's going to be a riot. They'll probably talk about everything but the film. They tend to do that. So they have it right here. Of course, there's the How Comes Frogtown card that let me know that How Comes Frogtown was out there. And as you saw, I actually have that one. There's only 1,000 copies that were made. Hell's Gate's the one I'm missing. I'll probably never find it. It's always expensive as hell. But who knows? Maybe I'll end up going through England this year, and I'll walk to a charity shop, and Hell's Gate will be there. It could happen. Okay, it's probably not going to happen, but it could happen. Next up is the director that I'm really a big fan of. So get ready to see a couple of his. If I had more of his, I do have some more of them, but it's kind of in different orders, I guess. And that is The Fury. When I did a recent video, this was mentioned. I said, do you have The Fury? Are you a fan of Brian De Palma? I'm a huge fan of Brian De Palma. I love Brian De Palma's work, especially like a lot of his early work. Fury was a fantastic film. Great cast: Kirk Douglas, John Cassavetes, Carrie Snodgrass, Charles Durning. I love Charles Durning. My favorite Charles Durning actually is in the movie Best of Horse in Texas. The ooh thing. I'm not going to try and sing. We had a conversation there about how I can't carry a tune. That's how I woke up to my better half telling me, I don't know if I was singing in my sleep, but she was like, you can't sing. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of a thing I got. But it's true. I really can't sing. Next up is one of my favorite Brian De Palma films, the one that I think never gets enough credit, never gets talked about, and I think it should be. It's a film that needs to be talked about. It's a really good film. Cliff Robertson is in it, and it is Obsession. It pretty much is Brian De Palma's version of Vertigo. But I'm going to speak sacrilege and say I liked it better. It's just something about it. I guess there's more hopefulness. That's the kind of guy I am. I like the hopeful aspect to it. I like that. So, Obsession. Next up is another Brian De Palma film, and that is Dressed to Kill. I do love this movie. I saw this one in theater when I was way too young to see it in theater. Great score by Pino. What's his name? Pino Donaggio? Donaggio? No, I'm gonna butcher the name anyway. Michael Caine, Angie Dickinson, Nancy Allen, and of course the star of Christine. Went on to be a director, and I think he talks in this film here as well. Dennis Franz is in this one. Like Dennis Franz did a few things for Brian De Palma. No, I totally forgot the guy's name. Like I'm stalling to try and remember his name from Christine. Keith Gordon. That's who it is. I think he's they interview him on here as well. There's kind of a cool thing on here. It was on the MGM release as well, where they kind of show, and they did this with Scarface too, where they show the kind of like the cut version, the censored version of the scenes, and the uncensored version of the scenes. I always found that interesting. Next up is the Brian De Palma classic, Phantom of the Paradise. My son's very favorite musical, and I love this. I'm a huge fan of Jessica Harper. I think she is a very talented, beautiful woman, and today she still is a very talented, beautiful woman. Paul Williams does a great job in this film. He does a great job in the score. He did score himself. He created the whole thing. There's a 72-minute interview with Paul Williams on there as well, by the way. William Finley, the late William Finley, is in this, of course, as Winslow Leach. Just an amazing version of Phantom of the Opera, very different, very unique, kind of a great rock opera aspect to it. Garrett Graham plays Beef, and he does an hilarious, over-the-top job in the way that he does it. Just some amazing work. Phantom of the Paradise, guys. I think I have another one. And I do. And it is Sisters. So, I'm a huge fan of Margot Kidder. Sisters is one of those movies that like stood out for me. And probably was one of the things that made me really see Brian De Palma. I really dug this film. Again, Charles Durning, of course, is in this as well. There's a small role for William Finley, but a large part on the cover. It's a great film. I mean, like, I really do like Sisters. It's it can seem dated a bit by a lot of today's standards, but something that I really liked. So, fantastic addition they got here. And as always, you got some great stuff to the Palma Digest, a film-by-film guide to the director's career by critic Mike Sutton. So if you're like a Brian De Palma fan, you might want to check this one out. One of the first Brian De Palmas that you get from Arrow Video. So next up is a favorite of mine. You saw the DVD I had with the big poster and stuff like that, and with the slip box. So when it came out on Blu-ray, just a few extras, but it was finally to have this on Blu-ray. I had to have it, and it is Tenebrae. Just an incredible film by Dario Argento. I have this in many different versions. I got a steelbook edition of this from Snap. By Snap's given me by a great friend of mine, and just incredible stuff. So Tenebrae is one of those movies that if you like it and you really like it, you're gonna like. Oh, I don't know how many times I had this or I will have this, but I hate the screen like that. I do love this. It has the Unsane World of Tenebrae, by the way, on here. There's a lot of cool stuff on here. Dark Dreams of Dario Argento, where they talked with Maitland McDonough. It's a 2-disc edition. There's the girl in the iconic scene. Oh, coming out there. Gotta be careful, eh? The ending with Daria Nicolodi. Daria Nicolodi did a great scream on this one. She was very frustrated. The scream is very real when she was making the film. And anyway, I won't spoil that for you. There's a lot of great featurettes and stuff on that you should check out. And there's also a great Snaps edition of that with a fantastic documentary on Giallo films. Next up is Cat o' Nine Tails. This is one of the 3 in the Animal trilogy that was done by Dario Argento. Again, I'm a big fan of this. Not like there's not a ton of featurettes, but the ones that are on here are good. Sergio Martino one's really good. Lucio Cozzi one is good. Lucio Cozzi is a really fun guy to listen to, actually, on film. Here goes the Cat o' Nine Tails, and we have the art card there for Sisters. So tell you what, I'll show you this. You'll probably used to seeing that Cat o' Nine Tails because you've probably seen it from the Anchor Bay edition or the Blue Underground one. But had to pick it up. Love this movie. Completed my trilogy. Trying to get to the more horrific stuff first. Next up is Zombie Flesh Eaters. I watched this with my son, and it was like a really fun watch. He was like, I'm not sure, Dad. I've watched so many zombie stuff lately. I'm zombied out. But we sat down, we watched it, we really enjoyed it. There's a lot of great features on there as well, and there's a one that's called Ramiro to Rome: The Rise and Fall of the 10 Zombie Films. So if you haven't checked that out, you really should. It's a cool little documentary there as well, and it is a 2-disc edition, both Blu-ray and DVD. And who cannot like a movie where a zombie and a shark have a fight? Uh, that's got to be automatic. That's a win right there. A zombie and a shark having a fight. You gotta love that. Well, she did a fantastic job with that one, and I really liked it. Next up is another zombie film, sort of, and it is called Nightmare City. I got this one recently. Haven't got to re-watch this one again. It's been a while since I've seen this film, actually. But I do like this style of film. And I'm not going to lie, I don't remember this one really well. It's been a bit of time since I've seen it. And I know they had it under a couple different names as well. But, man, I'm not even going to pretend. I don't remember this film very well. But it was one I was very excited to get because I don't remember very well. And I want to kind of like relive it. And so, now, 9/10 out of 10, I'll be 5 minutes into this movie and I'll be like, oh, that's the movie. But right now, I'll be honest with you, I'm drawing a blank. Next up is one I picked up from my better half. She loves these type, and it is The Wild Geese with Richard Burton, Roger Moore, Richard Harris, and Hardy Kruger. And it's just a cool little action film. It's very interesting, So if she likes these kind of action films, she likes The Dirty Dozen, she likes the kind of war action films, all these bunch of guys get together type thing. Up next is an Abel Ferrara film, and it is a great one. We got David Caruso, Lawrence Fishburne, Wesley Snipes, Steve Buscemi, and a little actor by the name of Christopher Walken. And that movie is King of New York. This is really underrated. I'm surprised more people don't talk about it. There's movies that like I see and I watch, and I'm like just surprised that nobody speaks about them more, or that they don't have a bigger place in the the upper echelon of some of the films that were done of this type. Because this is a really good, solid film. Look at that artwork there, by the way. Isn't that like incredible art? It's amazing stuff. Now we come to a favorite of mine. The movie itself is pretty cheesy, but still, it's definitely a favorite, and very well done. But what's even better, there's a documentary on here, and everybody that I've told that's gotten out and picked up this movie and watched the documentary are like, you're right, that is an amazing documentary that came with this film. And it's a full-length documentary too, and the documentary is called Remo, Rambo, Reagan, and Reds, the 80s action movie explosion. Yeah, a feature-length documentary on 80s action films. That's pretty cool. So if you like the Canon documentaries, you like stuff like that, you're really going to like this here. And the movie is Remo, The Adventure Begins. So Remo Williams, based on, of course, the Destroyer novels that I read when I was younger. And I used to read a lot of those, like Destroyer and like The Executioner, and, the Mac Bullen ones. I read Long Arm, too, the westerns. I was a voracious reader when I was a child. And yes, I know there was like kind of naughty sequences in Long Arm. And as a young boy, those pages were marked. Maureen Williams, The Destroyer, very cool. I wish they would have done more of those. Unfortunately, the only thing that ever came out afterwards of that was a failed TV pilot that didn't go anywhere, with much different actors. Here's one that I haven't seen yet, I haven't watched yet, and I had bought it to watch with my son. So if I get up to Ontario, or he gets down here sometime, we'll for a visit. We'll probably watch it together. And it's Takashi Mikai's The Happiness of the Katakaris. And I kind of put off. I wanted to watch it a couple times, but I put off watching it because I really want to be watching it with him. It's kind of like making fun of like really the Sound of Music right there. Looks like they're running happily, but they're actually running. Unlike the Sound of Music where they're running, like happily, they're screaming. They're because there's zombies and stop motion animation and all kinds of crazy shit into this. One of my favorite original releases that I grabbed from Arrow was Invasion of the Body Snatchers. It has a great roundtable discussion with Kim Newman and Ben Wheatley and who's the other guy on here as well? Norman J. Warren. Yeah, they discussed the film Invasion of the Body Snatchers and the Kaufman edition one. This is not the original. This is the remake, and it's one hell of a remake. Donald Sutherland, Leonard Nimoy, just an amazing cast in this one here. I think Jeff Goldblum's in this, right? Frank Cartwright, yeah. Chilling ending, which is kind of a spoiler, kind of foretold right there, but love the movie. Next up is The Burbs, a great film. I found this really fun. You remember The Burbs? Kind of an ensemble comedy. We got like a huge cast with this one. We got Tom Hanks, Bruce Dern, Carrie Fisher, Corey Feldman's in this one here as well. This is a Joe Dante film, and Joe Dante rarely steers me wrong at all. Joe Dante's done a lot of really good stuff. I even like Small Soldiers, man. This one here actually has the work print edition of The Burbs, which I have not watched yet. The work print I haven't. I did have watched The Burbs before. I like the movie. There's a documentary on here as well. There's a lot of really good stuff here. So a lot of feature-length documentaries with Lady Arrow stuff. Next up is kind of the kind of a cooler like Hitman, Yakuza type of film, and that is Branded to Kill. Basically, the number 3 hitman, because they're ranked, doesn't do the job right. So he's chased after by the number 1 hitman. Very cool film. It actually has another version of the film called Trapped in Lust, which was made in 1973. I haven't watched Trapped in Lust yet, but I have watched Branded to Kill. Really great film. I love this film. I love these Yakuza films. Next up is the Robert Ginty film, The Exterminator. I remember watching this when I was a kid, basically back in the day, and I did like this. The Exterminator. I have The Exterminator 2 as well. My dad gave it to me, and it's from like Scream Factory. It was on one of those 4-packs. Shout Factory, I guess. Yeah. So, and that one has like Mira Van Peebles on roller skates. I kid you not, it does. But this one is like really kind of a cool revenge film. Like his friend gets hurt. And, like a lot of the friends like more rape-ish, but this one is more like my friend. It's a buddy film type thing. And Robert Ginty's not what you expect for like the badass type character, and I think that's what makes it work so well is because he looks so unassuming. Next up is a Vincent Price film, and that's The Comedy of Terrors. So there we go, Jacques Tourneur. Again, a lot of great features on this. There's a interview with Vincent Price called Vincent Price, My Life and Crimes, and basically this is a previously unreleased alternate cut of the 1987 interview between David Duvall and Vincent Price, where they look back on his entire career. So amazing stuff. Great actors in this one here. Like just look, we got like Vincent Price, Boris Karloff, Peter Lorre, Basil Rathbone. Like how can you go, Joyce Jameson? How can you go wrong with a film like this? What gorgeous artwork as well. Let's see what the artwork is like on the inside. I like it, dude. Actually, it's very cool. Comedy of Terrors. Your favorite creeps together again. Good one that goes alongside the Vincent Price box set there. Next up is one based on the Lemon Popsicle series, and that is The Last American Virgin. Again, this one is not the sexploitation film that most people are going to think. It has a serious story. It has some darker undertones and aspects to it. It's not the happy ending film that you think. And it does like play off that, like it was a canon film, the comedy that put Zip into being a teenager. It's got a great soundtrack. Lawrence Munison, which many of you guys, that guy looks kind of familiar and you can't figure out where you place him from. It's from Friday 13th Part 4, the final chapter. Give Teddy a Kiss. Look, sound more familiar now, but that's who it is. He's the star of that film. Next up is Space Jesus, as I like to call it, but it is The Visitor. It's a really trippy film. Let me read you from the back of this one. I don't normally do reading from the back, but Killer Birds, Exploding Basketball Hoops, Sandpecking by Cameo, The Visitor. Worth owning. Definitely worth owning. Speaking of films that I think are extremely worth owning, Mark of the Devil. Again, a film that I really love. It's not for everybody. It's a harsh film. It's a slower moving film, but it came out at a time when when Britain was like doing a lot of like gothic things with Hammer and Amicus, and there was a certain style. I was moving away from that style into like a starker, kind of more realism style for the horror. It just has some amazing stuff. There's a fantastic documentary on here that basically talks about the change in horror at the time. It talks to people like Pete Walker. You know, I'm a big fan of Pete Walker, as you guys know, and many other directors around that time. And it's Mark of the Times. So really, really worth getting, even for that documentary alone. Next up is City of the Living Dead. Another fantastic. And there's a great steelbook of this, but to be totally honest with you guys, at the time it came out, I could get City of the Living Dead in Blu-ray, but steelbook one was a bit too expensive for me at the time. Well, features are the same. It's a beautiful cover. I love this cover. So, not complaining about that. It is amazing. There's some great stuff on here. It's a film that I own a couple like different versions of, City of the Living Dead. And if you kind of wondering about this film or what it is, most people that have seen it here in North America probably know it under The Gates of Hell. Great cover there too, hey? Such a classic. Definitely worth checking out. I love Fulci. Fulci made a lot of movies, but luckily hasn't let me down with these things. Next up is a Tobe Hooper film that I actually really, really dig, and it is Eaten Alive. It was this follow-up to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, so needless to say, a lot of people seemed to be disappointed at the time because it wasn't Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but you know, it wasn't doing the same thing over again. Even though you get Marilyn Byrne screaming, and you get a crazy guy that's out in the wilderness. No, it's not the same thing. It's a different story. It's kind of based on a truer story. And got a great cast in this one here. Robert Englund has the part in this. He plays Buck. And I'm not going to tell you what he's ready to do, but watch the movie. In the first few minutes, you're going to find out exactly what Buck is ready to do. Eaten Alive, great addition. Amazing features on here as well. Given me by a good friend. Love that in film. Next up is one that I really dig. It's by Tino Brass and produced by Bob Guccione from Penthouse. That is Caligula. Underrated film. A lot of people have like different things to say about Caligula, and I bet Bob Guccione himself. He is a polarizing figure. Bob Guccione is an artist, and there we go. And that's the thing. He sees himself as such. He wanted to make a film about, Caligula. There's obviously some scenes in here that were more hardcore, so you can watch them without that. I'm pretty sure. I think so. But it's good to know. It has some great actors. We got like Helen Mirren in this one now, Malcolm McDowell, Peter O'Toole's in this film. Beautiful cover, and it seems like kind of a raunchier cover. That's because Caligula is not a film for the kids. It's really not. But in order to tell the story of the decadent empire that was Caligula, that's kind of where you have to go. You can't back off from that aspect. It's that's who Caligula was. Next up is probably the best canon film that was ever made, and when I say that, I mean like the most critically acclaimed canon film, and the one that would come closest and should have won an Oscar is Runaway Train. It's a white knuckle thriller that with Jon Voight, Eric Roberts, Rebecca Mornier, as you can see, so you can read out from there. So, but let you know, there's a ton of great features on here as well. I think Roberts got nominated for this. Eric Roberts did get nominated. Didn't win, but I know he got nominated. One of them got Jon Voight, Eric Roberts. One or both of these guys got nominated for an Oscar, I'm sure. And it is like it's the definitive, when you think of like Cannon films and like some stuff they did, this is the definitive like kind of Cannon. It's got a bit of a break in it right up there. I gotta get a new case for that down the road. I'm gonna go to England, maybe I'll find it. A couple spaghetti westerns coming up next. First up is Lee Van Cleef in Day of Anger. I do dig this film. Oh man, this is such a cool release. There's actually, you got the English or Italian soundtrack on the longer cut, and English soundtrack on the shorter one. So there's like a couple cuts of the film on here. This is one. This I think may have been not one of, if not the first ones to be done here in North America. So this is like playable on both regions. It is an A and B region one. Day of Anger. Next up is Django Prepare a Coffin. Great film. This actually started out as just a DVD edition from Arrow Films, but it got a good reaction. They put there's only like a short interview that they put on there with like a spaghetti western author, Kevin Grant, but enough to like definitely make people get it. Blu-ray edition. They put like a new booklet in there as well, and just because I'm a nice guy, there's the alternate artwork. So Django Prepare a Coffin, really cool film. Spoiler, I don't want to spoil it, but there's a cool thing where Django is working for kind of a corrupt guy as a hangman, and you'll see what happens anyway. One more western, and that is one that I got, not just for my better half as well, because although she's not doesn't watch a lot, she does watch the spaghetti western. Those tend to be her favorites. This one here adds some French actor and actress she knows in it, which was really cool. So it is Cemetery Without Crosses. Great one's got a Dario Argento, like I think he wrote the script, or actually helped write the script, at least on this film here. Great stuff, and unusual to see like show the alternate art for this one as well. That's really cool. It's kind of unusual to see like this, like these French actors, actor and actress to starring in spaghetti westerns, but it's kind of cool. There was like a kind of whole resurgence of that there. Again, like a ton of features on here. Remembering Sergio, with writer-director Robert Hassan. I'm not going to say the names because I'm going to totally butcher them. Next up is a neo-noir film done by the Wachowskis, and so the Wachowski siblings made Bound with Jennifer Tilly, Gina Gershon, Joe Pantoliano, Christopher Molina's in this as well. Incredible cast, and Jennifer Tilly and Gina Gershon play lovers in this film, and they're both at their utter peak. They are both beautiful women, period. And it is a fantastic noir film, and even without that, it would be an amazing film. But that is definitely a plus, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Next up is the blaxploitation film Foxy Brown. We love blaxploitation here in this house. There's a genre that we really kind of get into. We love these movies, these Pam Grier type movies, and like the different ones. So Foxy Brown, we got. She's the meanest chick in town. Don't have like Sheba Baby. Don't have Black Mama, White Mama. Those are I really want Black Mama, White Mama. Actually. And we also got Coffee. And by the way, Foxy Brown was given me by my daddy. Coffee is again another favorite of mine. Great film, some amazing features on there. And what have I got left to show you? There's one other thing that I showed you all before, but you guys didn't see it because my video looked at the Arrow Steelbooks. So I only have a few. I'm not like collecting all the Arrow Steelbooks. I'm just getting the ones in the films that I like. And first up is Arrow Academy's Time Bandits. Let me do the Arrow Academy Arrow video. This one. It is actually this Arrow video. I'm surprised. Like like the handmade films, stuff from George Harrison's film company. Time Bandits is one that I saw in theater. It's done by Terry Gilliam. It's a very trippy film. I strongly recommend it. I know Criterion put it too. This is my preferred edition. So, yes, saying. Next up is Theater of Blood, a fantastic Vincent Price film with Diana Rigg. Some great actors in here as well. We got like Harry Andrews, Carl Brown, Jack Hawkins is in this one, like Robert Morley, Dennis Price, just some amazing, amazing. Eric Sykes in this one. Yeah, cool. So it's been a while since I watched this one, and I do love this film. So here we got Theater of Blood. As a guy that wanted to go into acting, and that this is a really cool film because Vincent Price plays a Shakespearean actor that who the critics savaged. He kills himself, and then those critics start to die in Shakespearean ways. It's a very cool film. It's kind of like fun and kind of funny, so I definitely check it out. Next up is their Scream Factory put out an edition of this as well, but it's not as good. I keep looking over there because my better half just went out to the other room there, and she left the door open, and the cat that's in here doesn't always mix with the cats that are there, so they try to like put them in their own like areas. So I'm just keep an eye. Is Life Force. Scream Factory put out an edition of Life Force. It's not even close, not even remotely close to the edition that was put out by RBD. This is amazing. This is an incredible edition with amazing features, a beautiful steelbook. I'm not sure if the steelbook's still available, but if it is, I strongly, highly recommend it, and definitely pick it up. It's a great one, and I love it. I actually have the DVD edition of the Scream Factory version of the Life Force with the those features that got taken off, because my dad picked me up like when he bought like just buy movies and sell them like kind of like resell stuff when he was doing like do movie sales back in the day before he retired. And one he got me was this Lucio Fulci collection one, and it had like Manhattan Baby, and it was like one of those big 2-packs, and it didn't have New York Ripper. Actually, a good friend of mine actually got me New York Ripper from Blue Underground on Blu-ray, so I was kind of like super stoked about that, and it was really cool, and I was very, very grateful for that. Next up is probably one of the most beautiful steelbooks that came out, and that is The Beyond. And I know there is a Grindhouse edition that has like a soundtrack, and it has a glow in the dark cover. That's really cool, and I like that, and it's amazing. But I don't know, the Arrow stuff just it wins out for me. And I do like Grindhouse releasing stuff. But look how beautiful that is. Look how gorgeous that is. I mean, look even here at this. It's gorgeous. I mean, the stuff is like not even remotely like. It's not like it's good. It is gorgeous, gorgeous work. The putts take steelbooks together and they do them the way that that they should be done. The booklet here as well. Again, I watched this one recently. It is a fantastic film. I'm not gonna lie, I do love this movie here. There's some like disturbing aspects to it, but it's a film that I really got into. Next up is one that my better half like surprised me with, and that is now Synapse put out these films each in their own steelbooks, and the cool thing about them is that they were put out like they had some good features on them, really good transfers, but they're $50 each, and it's kind of ridiculous. That's a lot of money to put into like a steelbook. They really were expensive, and even more so expensive because that was $50 American, and I'm here in Canada. But this Arrow just put out some tremendous editions of this. They put these out on their Emery cases, put them out on DVD, and they put them out in a steelbook limited edition with both of them together. So, Demons, classic. I love this artwork, by the way, guys. Just look at that. Kind of grotesque, but awesome. And Demons 2. Demons has a fantastic soundtrack. It's just an amazing film by Lamberto Bava. You guys know I love Dario Argento. So he's producing those there, and I think I'd say he had some hand in helping to write and guide Bava in his early work. But it is just such fantastic. I love Demons 2 as well. Some people aren't as big on the second one, but there was a time I think that I might have actually liked Demons 2 a little bit more than Demons 1. It's just something that for some reason worked for me, and they didn't put them all on one Blu-ray or anything like that. Each has special features. Each have their own Blu-ray, and the infamous guy that gives out the ticket, or has, he's Michel Sauvé. He actually is the director of a film that scared crap out of my better half, Stage Fright with the Owl Mask Killer. That's the director. And last two are two by a director that is a favorite of mine. These are two of my favorite Arrow releases. I love the artwork on these here. These are ones that when I saw the original, like the Emery case, and I saw the steelbook, there was no question I was getting the steelbook. The first one caused a lot of controversy when it came out. A lot of people bitched and complained because the edition was missing a few seconds here or there. It wasn't a lot, and it wasn't anything to be really like overtly upset about. But some people really got upset, and they wouldn't buy it and stuff like that. So us that were loyal bought it, and we're smart enough to realize Arrow fixes their mistakes. So we bought it at a really good price because he actually did put it on at a good price during sales and that. And I picked it up, and as soon as it did get fixed up, they sent me the replacement discs. I know I saw the original discs, and I have the replacement discs here as well. The replacement discs are now in here. It's really cool because the fact is that they didn't just put scenes in there and fix that up, but they also like with the documentary, there's some sequences that they couldn't get like scenes from before, but now they have the rights to it. So those documentary also has scenes in there as well that weren't in there before. So if you haven't checked it out, definitely check out Shivers, a great edition. People that I recommended this to buy this originally were happy to have it. And like they said, when they watched the movie, and they watched the movie before, the scenes were put in, and they said, I didn't notice it. It's not something that I noticed. And who else did notice it? Cronenberg. Cronenberg was he director approved like his films that they came out with Arrow. But here's the thing: he was at TIFF, Toronto International Film Festival. They were doing this movie. Like basically, they're going to be doing like a restoration of the film. So they had him watch the film first and pretty much sign off on it. The director has to sign off on the film because Toronto International Film Festival is going to put a lot of money in to do a restoration of the film. Fantastic stuff. Here's the thing, though. After they did it, and Cronenberg signed off on it, they took the team that went out and they restored the film. Cronenberg doesn't like to look back on his films. Cronenberg watched 10-15 minutes of the film and said, yeah, that has the right tone for my film. That's the way I want my film to be shown. It was the cut. It was at a few scenes cut out of it. It was a different edition of the film than the uncut version. The Toronto International Film Festival wouldn't know. They took Cronenberg's word on it, since of course he's the director and maker of the film, and he's signing off as this being the director's approved edition. Of course, once it came out, Cronenberg said, "No, I don't approve of censorship in my films. I don't want my films to be censored at all. But you already approved." So TIFF, felt bad about it. Arrow felt bad about it. They took the time to get together and actually put out an uncut, restored edition of the film, and they took their time doing it. And I'm glad they did, because do it right. Don't slap together. They could have put in some branching things or something like that, but no, do it right, and they did do it right. That's my Talking Shivers. Next up, and this is gorgeous. It's such a tragic picture, but it is so well done. It's the second film there, and it is Rabid. As you can see, that's Marilyn Chambers. A beautiful girl looking not so beautiful right there. You can't trust your mother, your best friend, the neighbor next door. Rabid is a fantastic little film. Just like a very simple, black with the rabbit on the back right there. Again, another great addition. He just did some amazing stuff with this film. There are so many great features on these here Cronenbergs. I do recommend them if you get them. If you can get them, if steelbooks are still available. I don't know how steelbooks, how many. I know the steelbooks get limited, but I'm not sure how many are sold and which ones are sold out or not. I kind of keep track of that really. But these two here, Shivers and Rabid, I can't recommend them high enough in in the steelbooks. And there we go. Finally, after took me 2 days to do it, but this is part 3, the last bit of. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Wow, I got a lot of arrows to put back, and then I got some. My better half is leaving to go to Morocco on Tuesday, so we're gonna be doing a whole lot of cleaning. I'm not looking forward to that. If I could extend this video any longer, I probably would, so that I wouldn't have to do cleaning. But she's been looking at me get on with it. But here's the thing. I messed up in this video last night I came back to do it. I wanted to take my time to do it right. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching. And for me right now, because I'm waiting to drink it, a little cold, but still good. It's time for tea. Hey there, and thank you for staying for the after credit sequence, especially after such a long video. So what I decided to do was something a little special for you guys. I picked up a couple things today, and I want to share one other thing as well. So before I get into showing you like the couple like small things that I picked up today, I will show you this. The steelbook that is always there, that the other English steelbook that I got, that's not Arrow. I thought I'd let you guys see that one today. And that is The Return of the Living Dead. This was put up by Second Sight. It is a great edition of the film. There is an edition put out by Scream Factory. It's a really good edition. However, this one here, if you can get your hands on it, this is the definitive edition of Return of the Living Dead. Not only is it a fantastic film, this has the full, complete, unaltered soundtrack. As you guys know, when MGM put this out afterwards, the soundtrack was, it was definitely altered. Songs were taken out, songs were changed. When Scream Factory put it out, they got the rights to every song except for one. This here is the only way that you're going to get this film that I know of that has the complete unaltered soundtrack for Return of the Living Dead. Not only that, but not only does it have More Brains, the documentary that you can also get on the Scream Factory edition, but it also has all the extras that More Brains had on its original DVD release. So when it doesn't just talk about like Return of the Living Dead, it got that whole one on there, but it's also going to give you talking about Return of the Living Dead 2 and Return of the Living Dead 3. There's a bunch of different features on here as well. Just some amazing stuff. It comes with Return of the Living Dead, Ernie's Notebook, and just some incredible stuff. There's like a comic book aspect to this as well. We got some of the other some art from the film. Just some incredible stuff. And I will show you the interior art of this here edition, so you guys can see just how beautiful it is. So here's the Blu-ray right there. This was basically a surprise for me. And it is the interior art for Return of the Living Dead. Now there is of course the drawn sequence of trash there naked, but you can't flag a drawing, so Return of the Living Dead, amazing edition, really cool stuff. I picked up a couple things to add to my MGM collection today, so I'll probably be doing an MGM collection review pretty soon, because I do have a lot of MGM releases. So two, and they're both multi-feature sets. There was a couple more there that I wanted to get. I couldn't afford them today, but I did pick up two of them. There was like an American Ninja 2 and 3 there, and I really wanted that because I really like the American Ninja films. I'm definitely going to get the set from 88 Films down the road, but to have the MGM like double feature, I'd love to have that as well. I grabbed 4-pack here. It has Edge of Sanity. I do have the single release of that one, but the other three here I didn't have, so I definitely wanted this. Spiral Staircase is one I really wanted for, of course, whatever happened to Aunt Alice. I got a kick of that movie, and the Equius. I don't think I've ever seen the film Equius with Richard Burton, but I did watch I did do it as a play. 'Cause this was a play too, and I remember we doing the play. So I'll show you what it looks like on the inside. So the Spiral Staircase and Edge of Sandy were surprisingly the ones that were flipper disc. I was really surprised. I kind of expect either Edge of Sandy or Spiral Staircase to have their own single disc releases, but they didn't. However, whatever happened to Aunt Alice and Equius do have their own single disc releases. I don't think there's any features on them, as far as I know. I haven't looked into it, but who knows? Maybe there are, and I just don't know. So I had to pick up this totally awesome 80s double feature. Went on first to make sure that there was a widescreen edition of these, because these are theater movies, and movies that I actually kind of dig. The first one, it's okay. The second one, I really did like it. And Once Bitten is the okay one with Jim Carrey and Lauren Hutton. Of course, fantastic little film there. Well, not a fantastic little film, not a very good film, actually. Karen Copen's Cleavon Little. But you know, I enjoy it for what it is. Not one of Carey's best films. It's an early film by him. There's some misses and hits to it, but I can watch it. It's a fun little film. Uh, Nicolas Cage's Vampires Kiss is highly underrated as a film. It is batshit crazy, much like the way most people think Nicolas Cage is, and he does a great job in this film. There are some great actors in this one. Marita Conchita Alonso again is in this one. Jennifer Beals is in this one. She plays like kind of a vampire, maybe. Here's the thing: this guy is an ass. He is not like there's no like two ways about it. This character is not a nice character in the film. By the way, guys, just in case you want to see what I'm drinking here, it is a Muscle Man Protein Series 4, and I shouldn't have shaken it when I had it kind of open. And so you see that I'm not abandoning or lying to you as well. I do have my tea here, and a Starbucks cup. So, strange, unusual. Before I go any farther or pick up the next thing that I got to pick up, I am totally getting that off of me, and I'm going to clean that up in a second. My better half's looking at me like, don't make a mess. She gave this to me. She was like, do you like these things? Want to try one? Obviously, I'm a huge muscle-bound guy, so I've been doing this all the time, right? But it's cool. No, I do find it cool. Grabbed 3 comics today as well. As you guys know, if you watch my stuff here, you know, so I often put comics stuff in here as well. And today I did. So I picked up Wonder Woman issue 1. I've been a real big fan of the rebirth of Wonder Woman. So like DC's doing rebirth storyline. We're getting that some other time. If you haven't seen others, watch them. So picked it up. Again, there's the artwork on this is pretty incredible. Look at this one here, guys. Great picture, Wonder Woman. Also grabbed the Flash issue 1. Really want to see this one. Apparently, there's like for some reason there's a lot of people are made speedsters within like in this town and within Central City. Well, one is out going around killing other speedsters. And a cool storyline. I can't wait to get into it. And I got Action Comics 958, the second part to that one. So it's the Path of Doom, of course, with started with Lex Luthor and Superman fighting because Superman thought Lex Luthor didn't deserve to wear the S-Shield, which he kind of doesn't. He's Lex Luthor. And all of a sudden, who shows up but Doomsday? So, see where those go. And there we go, guys. That's my video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. It's time for some Muscle Man. It's like called Muscle Man. You saw me drink that, and I drank it so dainty-like. It's like Muscle Man. Put out your pinky. But I enjoyed it, and tea. So kind of a cool and not hot, but kind of cool combination. Thanks for watching, guys. It is time to answer the phone and time for tea.